How's it, folks? Oblivion Remastered has literally just shadow dropped and kind of scrambling to get all the information available. So if you're curious on how the leveling system has changed in this version of the game, I'm going to give a brief summary to start off with and then go into a bit more details later on. So those who are only interested in the overview don't have to watch the entire video. So quick summary of the new leveling system. You get one specialization, which is either combat, magic or stealth, 2 major attributes, and then 7 major skills. Any other skill you don't select becomes a minor skill. The major skills give plus 20 points to that skill and they level up faster. But the minor skills still earn XP for leveling up. So don't feel too pressured about what you select in character creation menu. In order to level up, you need to actually sleep in a bed, even if it's just for 1 short hour. You need to find a bed to sleep in to trigger the level up screen. When you level up, you'll be given 12 virtue points, and you can spend them in up to 3 different skills. You can't level up more than 3 skills per level up, and you also can't put more than 5 virtue points into each skill. And luck, you can only level up once per level up, and it will cost 4 virtue points to level up. I don't think there is a way of increasing the amount of virtue points you earn per level. So unlike the original Oblivion game where you had 15 points that were spent per level up, this time you only have 12, but this time you can assign them yourself, which I think is much better, as you don't have to worry about min-maxing or playing a certain way just to get certain skill points. And things like endurance, which increases your max HP, also work retroactively, so you won't miss out on health if you take it later on compared to early in the game. Now let's go into a bit more detail about what I was just talking about. So the changes start all the way back during character creation. When you're busy picking out your character, you'll notice they have different attributes, with the red ones being lowered and the green ones being increased. And then if you pick between the 2 different origins for each of the races, you'll see different attribute distribution based on that, but the race itself will have the same skills between the 2 different origins. You can also increase some of your attributes by picking a certain star sign, birth sign during the character creation. Some of them do give bonus attribute points. For instance, the thief sign will give 10 to agility, speed, and luck, which is worth 40 virtue points just for the luck alone, and then another 10 and 10 for the agility and speed will give you, that star sign will give you 60 bonus attribute points into your character. However, you can reach max 100 in each of your attribute points, except for luck. For luck, you need to take the thief sign to get max skill. At about, I think it was level 37, you can max out each of your attributes, and then maybe go to prison a couple of times to knock down your skill points so you can raise your level cap to increase that higher to get more attribute points to level up the last few points of your luck attribute. But otherwise, you can quite easily max out all the attributes for your main stat lines and then your secondary stats just playing through the game. You don't have to worry too much about what you pick in the character creation at the beginning. You can make up the differences by leveling up. And when you ask to actually create your class, you'll need to choose between a specialization between combat, magic, or stealth, and then 2 favorite attributes, and then 7 major skills, and all the rest of the skills will be considered as minor skills. Unlike the original Oblivion game, every single skill will earn you XP towards leveling up. It's just the major skills that you select will give a big skill boost. So they'll start at like level 30, level 35, around there. Whereas your minor skills, they will be the same as what your race has them set as. You start off with a skill set by your race, and then the major skills will add on top of that. But every single skill does work towards leveling you up. It's just the higher skill points, if you tend to use them more often, when it gets to a bigger number, you'll earn more experience towards your main level. So leveling, say, stealth between 1 to 2 will give you a tiny fraction of your main XP level, whereas leveling stealth between 29 and 30 will give you a decent, maybe like 10-15% chunk of your XP bar if you're still quite a low level. Obviously, you'll earn less for higher levels. And just like the original, you are able to create a custom class. So during the custom class, you will choose between combat, magic, or stealth, and then whichever one you choose will get a +5 level bonus to the stats affected by that, and they will level up quicker. So basically pick whatever you're going to be using more, whether it's combat, magic, or stealth. Next, you want to pick your favorite attributes. This will give you an additional +5 points to these attributes on top of what you already had when you did your race selection earlier. So strength will increase the amount of damage you deal with long swords, claymores, maces, war axes, battle axes, war hammers, and your bare hands. It will also increase your carry capacity and slightly increase your maximum health. Intelligence will increase your maximum magicka, so you can cast more spells. Willpower determines how quickly you regenerate your magicka, and it also determines your maximum fatigue or your stamina bar for those more familiar with Skyrim. The agility attribute increases the amount of damage you deal with daggers, short swords, and bows. So that's much better than the previous one, which I think was literally just bows. But now they moved daggers and short swords to it, so fits more into the thievery playstyle. It also slightly increases your maximum fatigue or stamina, and also defines how quickly you will regenerate your fatigue or stamina. Speed is pretty straightforward, it just determines how fast you move. Endurance greatly increases your maximum health, and it will determine how quickly you regenerate health out of combat. But another big thing worth mentioning here for endurance is that it works retroactively. So it doesn't matter whether you level up your endurance to the max first, or you level up all your other skills simultaneously and get to max endurance much later on. You'll have the same amount of health. So it works retroactively, which is a big plus in my mind. And then personality affects how much people like you, which will give you better information and make better trade deals. So think speech skill from Skyrim. And luck will affect all of your skills, but not as much as leveling the individual skill itself. And then when you manage to fill up your XP bar, you need to find a bed, whether you go to an inn or find a free bedroll or whatnot. You need to find a bed to level up. Once you level up, you'll get given 12 virtue. Unlike the original Oblivion that randomly assigned these depending on what you use to level up, this version allows you to pick and choose how you want to level up your stats. You cannot level up more than 3 stats per level up, and you cannot put more than 1 point into luck per level up. And to level up luck, you need to put in 4 points, 4 virtue points to level it up, and you only have 12. So you can either split it 4 points into 2 stats and 1 into luck to level it up, or you could do 5-3-1, or you could do 4-4-4 for 3 other stats, just ignoring luck, or you could do 5-5-2, or however you want it. You want my advice? Basically ignore luck. That's what I'm doing at the moment. Just ignore luck and put all the points into the main attributes. And then once you've selected your different attributes in the character creation, you move on to picking your major skills. You have 7 skill slots to fill in. Whatever you don't select will be considered a minor skill. The only difference between the major skill and the minor skill is major skills have a plus 20 level bonus, so they start 20 levels higher, and they increase faster, so it's easier to level them up. In the combat skill line, you have armorer, athletics, blade, block, blunt, hand-to-hand, and heavy armor. Under magic, you have alchemy, alteration, conjuration, destruction, illusion, mysticism, and restoration. And then under stealth, you have acrobatics, light armor, marksman, mercantile, security, sneak, and speechcraft. If you manage to get a skill point up to level 100, you would need to get yourself caught and sent to jail or prison or whatever to lose some of those skill points to try and raise your level cap. I'm not aware of any other way other than using console commands to lower your skill levels to try and raise your max skill cap higher. I expect those are things that we'll see when people start making more mods for a sudden new game. Other than that, level scaling is still in the game, so that's something else to keep aware of. So if you're doing quests with unique weapons or unique armor or whatnot, maybe wait until you higher levels to do it, or get a mod that stops you from getting leveled items, because it's kind of disappointing to get a unique named item at like level 2 or 3 and it's noticeably weaker than if you had gotten it at level 20. Never a fan of that leveled items list. And I'm not too sure on the level scaling for the enemies yet. So far it seems like enemies are still scaling to your character's level, but I'm Don't know if you're suddenly going to find a thief decked out in Daedric armor or whatnot on the road. So that's something I'm kind of hoping to discover as I get more into the game. And if you folks discover more about the leveling system, whatnot, drop a comment down below to help other people out. Otherwise, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care, and cheers for now.